Hey guys, welcome back to Become Your Own Favorite Chef. Today I'm doing one of my all-time favorite recipes that I've worked literally weeks on, and I'm so excited to share with you. First off, I'm a huge fan of Indian food, and I frequent Indian lunch buffets and make a fool of myself eating so much and spending a lot of money. So I had to decide, keep spending the money on Indian buffets or make it myself. Okay. I've made it myself after much research online, after talking to some Indian professionals myself, and some trial and error. I promise you I have the perfect introductory Indian dish for you or any family member or friend that would like to know, is Indian food good for me? Butter chicken is my all-time favorite dish across probably 20 Indian restaurants I've eaten at, and I mean, not to sound cocky, but to sound cocky, because I worked a lot on this, I make the best. Done. And it's so easy. You're not going to believe how easy this is. I'm making this soon for my family members that do not believe they like Indian food, and I'm going to make them love Indian food. So, with a few specific special instructions, you're going to have the best butter chicken of your life in about 20 minutes. Let's get started. Alright, the first step is actually the secret ingredient, and this is something that I had no clue about in the culinary world of cooking, and it is using pureed nuts or a nut paste, especially cashews, to thicken and flavor your sauce instead of flour. So this is why a lot of Indian dishes are gluten-free, yet they're thick and amazing. So the first thing we're going to do is take a very nice heaping half a cup of cashews, lightly salted. We're going to puree them in a food processor until they're almost a paste. Those are very fine, that's what you're looking for. And another step that I found really makes this sauce smooth is instead of just adding the chunks of shallots and onion and garlic into our sauce, I decided to puree them with these nuts, and it really makes a smooth, decadent sauce. So we have two medium to large shallots, we have a half of a large yellow onion, and we have 2 tablespoons or about 2 large cloves of garlic minced up. So I'm going to add those, and you're going to pulse this until everything is a fine paste. And I know that sounds really crazy, but I promise you this is what's going to make this awesome. And that's all my hard work really done. I forgot to mention I just roughly chopped those. The food processor takes care of all the fine work we have to do. So let's go to the next step. Okay, so after we have made our paste, we're going to take 3 medium to large size chicken breasts, trimmed, and cut them into squares. And really you can make these as big or little as you like. I like smaller pieces of chicken. And what we're going to do is just salt and pepper them. I have extra virgin olive oil, about 3 or 4 tablespoons, heated up in a big pan, and heat is on medium-high heat. What we're going to do is we're going to sear this chicken. We're going to give it a nice little crust on the outside, but we're not going to cook it all the way through. Let's go ahead and get that started. We want to brown the edges, and then we don't want it all the way cooked through because we're going to finish the chicken for about 10 or 15 minutes in the sauce towards the end, and you don't want tough chicken that's overdone. So let's make sure there's plenty of salt and pepper here. I'm just going to stir this around until all sides are brown. Okay, if you can hear me above all the sizzling, these aren't too darkly brown, but I don't want to overdo them. So I'm going to go ahead and transfer these to a plate. And the reason we do that is we want some of these amazing chicken bits and flavor on the bottom of this pan. Do not change pans. You want to definitely use the same pan that you cooked your chicken in to make the rest of your sauce. So the next step, we are going to take 4 tablespoons of butter. And that butter will help deglaze this pan here. after this is melted just a little bit, we're going to finally add our paste that we created earlier. The cashews, the onions, the shallots, and the garlic. We're going to let that simmer for a couple minutes before we add some really important spices and flavorings. Let's go ahead and get that paste in here. We're just going to let this paste kind of heat through, get activated so those onions and shallots start to sweat and cook, and that those cashews can start thickening up our paste. This is kind of like a fake roux. Like if we were adding butter and flour together to make a thick paste for a thick sauce, the cashews are kind of replacing the flour. And this will taste even better than you would have ever imagined. So I'm going to let this simmer just a couple minutes, and then we'll go on to our next ingredients. Okay, now that our butter is melted, I'm scraping all the bits off of the bottom. And now we're going to add all of our flavors that are going to make this awesome. One is 1/4 cup or 4 tablespoons of fresh squeezed lemon juice. Then we're going to add 2 teaspoons of garam masala. This really gives butter chicken that unique, sweet, yet savory flavor. If you like your butter chicken a little sweeter, feel free to add more. We're going to add 2 teaspoons of chili powder. Give it a little bit of depth and a little bit of heat. Not too much. And then we're going to add 2 teaspoons of ground coriander. And the reason we're adding these now without all this liquid in here is to activate all of these flavors, and they smell amazing. Okay, next up, we're going to add just 1 teaspoon of ground ginger powder. Some recipes also say ginger paste is fine too. Then we're going to add, and for me, I want this to be kind of a mild experience. I want to be able to eat as much of this as I want without burning my tongue off. So I'm just going to add 1/2 teaspoon of ground red pepper. If you want it spicy, add as much as you want. And you can add it as you go too. If it's not spicy enough later on, you can add it, it's fine. And then we've got 2 bay leaves. I like the big ones. We'll do 3 small bay leaves. Alright, I'm going to just stir this constantly for a minute. Let all of those amazing spices kind of heat up a little bit, and then we're going to add our tomato paste. Next, 2 cups of pureed tomatoes, not like a spaghetti sauce. You don't want much flavor. There's 1 cup. Here's 2 cups. This is our main base. We're going to let this simmer and emulse for about a minute before we add our yogurt and our 1/2. Smells amazing. Okay, just a minute or 2 simmering with the tomatoes. We're now going to add 1/2 cup of plain yogurt. Feel free to use Greek yogurt if you prefer as well. Just kind of gives it a tang, helps thicken it up. We'll kind of stir that in. Then we're going to add 2 cups of 1/2 and 1/2. And honestly, I've talked to some people that cook Indian food for us Arkansans down here, and they add a lot more cream than that. So if you like your stuff a little more Americanized, feel free to add whatever you want. But if you want healthier, feel free to add whole milk instead. It really is just whatever you want to do. You do you, boo. Okay? So I'm going to like the 2 cups of 1/2 and 1/2. I think it gives a great balance. It still keeps a thin enough consistency that I can dip all this extra sauce with the naan. Gently stir that together. This needs to simmer for at least 10 to 15 minutes. I'd say the longer it simmers, the better. It'll also kind of get more intense in its flavor, thicken up a little bit more. And once you get this all mixed together, it's safe to go ahead and add your chicken back so it can start heating up and cooking through. And that's it, y'all. And that's it. And we just made the best butter chicken I've ever had. So, let's go ahead and add that chicken in. I'm going to stir this together. I'm going to lower that to a simmer, put the lid on, let it do its magic. and we're gonna eat here soon. So I've been simmering for about 15 minutes. The way to check if your chicken's done, take a piece out, cut it. If it's completely white, you're perfect. Don't taste it until then. I don't want you getting salmonella because of me. So, first thing we're gonna do before we say we're done, we do have to taste. And this is where you become your own favorite chef. This is where you decide you need to add salt, pepper, anything else, so. I mean, I can eat all of that right now. But I do think I want to add a little bit of salt. And sometimes I add a little bit more garam masala depending on my mood. But I think it's pretty perfect. So, I'm going to go ahead and dish this up. And notice, you know, the chicken's all you have in there. The sauce, it's there for stopping. And while my garlic naan recipe is amazing, and we usually make this with the garlic naan recipe, this was kind of on the whim. Oh my gosh, I need butter chicken right now. And so I didn't have time to make the garlic naan. Make cracked bread instead. It'll do, but you can put a stick in here. It'll be amazing. This sauce, if you've never tried Indian food before, this will make you fall in love with it. It is my absolute favorite sauce ever. Please try this. And if you don't love it, unsubscribe. Thanks. Bye.